Thank you for watching Creative Backstories. My name is Kendal Brown, creative and entrepreneur. And I'm on a mission to inspire others through the power of creativity. Today I'm joined by Diedre Gray, an accomplished musician, writer, and arranger from the DC area whose work centers joy, creativity, communal care, and trans activism. In our conversation, we talk about her creative journey of making music and the influences that shape her work. Enjoy the conversation. Tell me a little bit about yourself, however you like to introduce yourself and what you'd like folks to know about you, where you're from, your work, whatever you'd like to share.
So first, thank you once again, Kendall, for this opportunity. I don't take it for granted, and I'm very appreciative of this time that we're going to share. My name is Diedre Gray. My pronouns are she and her. And I presently live just outside of Washington, D.C., in the suburbs of Maryland, down the southern tip, Waldorf to be specifically. But I'm born and raised in the heart of the Midwest, Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm a Midwest girl, but I'm not a farm girl. Don't get it confused. But I've been here for 27 years, just about almost, creeping up on 30 years now. So I
Wow.
definitely consider the DMV my home. And I was told unofficially that since I was not born and raised in DC, I can claim the DMV. So I can use that terminology, but I would definitely say that I'm a
They can be quite territorial.
very much so, and I get it. I respect it. It's all gravy. It's all gravy. I would definitely identify as a creative. I'm a minister through music. I've been a teacher working with kids. I did that in the high school space for 10 years as a music teacher.
When I met you, that's what you were doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I taught private music lessons, all ages. I've always worked in the church. I'm the baby of 6. So
Wow.
all that is in play. And I'm a Scorpio. So, coming up, all that is in play. All that's in play. I do want people to take away from the conversation that one of my identities is as a Black trans woman. That's not the only one. And so they all come together in this unique form that you see before you. And I do my best to create safe, healthy spaces for people, oftentimes through music, but not only through music, because I believe that it's important for people to be affirmed, to be validated, to be themselves, but also to know and understand that we have to figure out how to be in community at the same time. It's oftentimes music can be that avenue, can be that tool to create that common link, that common bond between folks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored and tickled brown to have you as a part of this conversation tonight, and I'm looking forward to what we'll share. And as I mentioned, we met at what was then Amistad United Church of Christ, and later became Amistad St. Paul. And you were one of the musicians there, and I was one of the associate ministers, filling in as a musician on occasion. I'm nowhere near as accomplished as you are in terms of music, but I do what I can do. But I was so blessed by your music ministry there, and had an opportunity to hear the high school choir as well, on I think one or two occasions, and just incredible work, that I'm sure still lives on in the hearts and lives of those students that you taught and directed at the high school. So let's start with what it means to be a creative. What is creativity to you? What does that mean to you, and from what place does that flow?
I think being a creative, first and foremost, it means that there's a certain level of I can walk into a place that is not and I can make it be. And so sometimes people can come into a space and all they see is the death and the decay. They just see the negative. As creatives, we have to be able to walk in, see what's there, and then allow the energy that is within us to begin to flow out and see how can that energy touch the corner over there, touch the person on the side, touch the ceiling, touch the lights, and change what's flowing in that moment and in that space. And it looks very different for different people, right? It
Mhm.
can be putting color on a wall for somebody who loves to paint and to draw. It can be changing textures, bringing in sand and bringing in pieces of nature. It can be making noise like music. It can be movement like dance. So it can look very, very different for different people. But for me, I tap into the music space um, by training and by anointing, if I can use that church term.
Mhm.
Music is the thing that I do since I was a baby. And so, I hear music. I was telling somebody not too long ago that I've noted myself vibrating at a different frequency. And one of the ways that I can tell is that literally when I hear the birds chirping, I hear the melodies, I hear the notes, and it
Mhm.
hits me differently than it has previously. I think that's part of what happens with the creative. Literally, things vibrate, the frequencies hit our bodies differently than they do with other people.
You're
And it's
talking my language. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I think part of what can happen for a non-creative is they see the outward experience and they interpret it a certain way, and they don't really have a concept of what's going on internally. So what
Right.
does that look like? So for an example, I'm not the best cook in the world, but I tried my hand at baking cakes. And one of the things that I've learned, there's a difference between using a box cake and making something from scratch.
Mhm.
But when you put it in the oven, there's something that happens with all the ingredients, all the chemical reactions, and the flavors start to infuse themselves and they mix, and all of a sudden they just find a level of balance. And the part that I love about it the most is I can be sitting in another part of the house, the living room or whatever, and I can
Mhm.
smell when it's ready.
Yeah.
You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't know what it was. I don't know how it took place,
Mhm.
but it's like, oh, now it's ready for me to do the thing. And so I think that's how creatives move. That's how we flow in things. And sometimes,
Yeah. I
other
love it.
folks, non-creatives or maybe creatives that are not in the space that you're in, they may not be able to recognize that. All they know is that the cake smells good, and and so now it's time to do the next thing. And so I try to lean into that, particularly the last maybe year or so. I've really tried to lean into that part of the experience, and when it's ready, it's ready. Now let's go.
Yeah. 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 I love that analogy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For me, it's like a radio frequency.
Hmm.
It's always in the air,
Hmm.
but unless your dial is tuned in, you don't hear it. And creatives just have a way of the way they're wired of tuning into that frequency and capturing that moment and that vibration.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I love that
I would even
language.
I would even offer and add this if I could. Um, the frequency analogy that you use. We're both grown folk. We're both grown. We
Hmm.
remember the AM and FM radio, right?
I was when I said that I was thinking about AM.
Now they have satellite. They have the AM frequency could only go, but so that was the weakest of the radio frequencies, right? Then they got
Hmm.
FM. You could go a bit further. Now they have satellite radio, and those
Yeah.
frequencies can be global. And now here we are in 2025, going into 26. People are learning how to vibrate and access those frequencies on a global level, and it looks very
Yeah.
different than how it did, say, when my parents, were in their teens and their 20s, 40, 50 years ago, right? So, the model is even evolving and changing. And so,
Hmm.
we get to redefine in our contemporary context what this thing called creativity can even look like. We don't have to
Yeah.
hold on to the old model. We might hold on to some elements of it, but we can
Yeah.
also bring in the new as we need to.
New methods. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna help some people. So in that vein, in my work, the workshops that I do and the work that I do with groups, I invite people to start off by remembering their teachers. Who were the people they were paying attention to? Because that's often an indicator of how we're wired and the things that make us the people that we are. So, tell me about the people that you were paying attention to and those people who were teaching you lessons, those people who you were honed in on what they were doing and what they were communicating or what they were embodying as a child.
So I go immediately first and foremost to my parents.
Hmm.
They were the choir director and the church organist. And
Oh, wow.
so I didn't have a choice. Like I literally didn't have a choice. My siblings tell me that everybody had to learn an instrument and everybody sang in the choir. As a matter of fact, I think it was last year I was talking with my oldest brother, and he was sharing how he used to sing leads as in the choir. And I just had to like, what, who? Because that is not the person that I know as an adult, you know. But my parents, Rose Gray, Charles Gray, they very much laid a foundation that I still carry. I quote my mom all the time. Like everybody knows Rosie Gray because I'm gonna say something that she taught me, something that she said, and I think it's important to do that. Number one,
Yes.
obviously, right? But then I had a lot of chosen parents, a lot of chosen um, uh, uh, influencers. Growing up in Omaha, it's not a big city. You know, most people are really surprised. There are black people in Nebraska. I've heard that I don't know how many times. It's like, okay, we get it. But it was really a cauldron for black gospel music. Like there
Hmm.
were great, amazing musicians that I had the chance to sit under. So my first piano teacher, Mrs. Ruth White, she started teaching me when I was 9 years old. And she and my mom were like sisters. They were literally that close. And I stayed with her for about a year until she passed away suddenly. But I'm going to say some names that might resonate for you. So I called her mom. And so her two children, her son and her daughter, I called them my big brother, my big sister. Her daughter is the woman that sang the lead on Order My Steps.
Wow.
So Mimi Red,
Mimi Red.
James
Yeah.
Otis Wright, those are my family. And of course, Glenn Burley is the composer. He was one
Hmm.
of our, first of all, he was Omaha's mentor, first off. But,
Yes.
had the chance, they were come over, he would come over, sit in my basement. Well, not my basement, my parents' basement.
Hmm.
And they would just be having jam sessions. That was just a regular thing. And so there are people such as
Wow.
Faye Bailey Johnson and Reverend Michael Driver. And his mother actually became my second piano teacher, Viola Driver. She's still alive to this day in her
I've
90s.
heard that name. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, these are folks that laid foundation. Otis Westbrook was the first person to teach. Was the first teacher I had on drums in the school system, and his son studied music. Just so many folks along these different lines. Obviously, moving here when I got to Bowie State University, where I did my undergrad, I sat under some amazing professors, and of course, all their names are going to slip out of my mind because I'm trying to think of them. But
Hmm.
Bowie State was an amazing place.
Yeah.
And then just my contemporaries that I had a chance to share with growing up, even to move into this area. All I took notes and take notes from all of them because it's the sharing of a little note here, a little reference there, a
Right.
little technique over here, and you take all of that and you infuse it into then what you do, and you try to pull on those lessons. I sat under a Thomas Tyler and an Evelyn Simpson Curenton for a
Hmm.
period of years, and soaking stuff up from them. Uh, uh, Michelle Fallon, amazing soprano. Woo, just give you everything.
Hmm.
Just and now where I'm at presently at People's United Church of Christ, I have the opportunity to work with Dr. Robert Jefferson, who is just a maestro, and I just laugh so many times because I'm sitting on the B3 organ, and he's running from the grand piano to the pipe organ to the keyboard back to the grand piano, and I haven't moved off the organ yet. But I really am appreciative of that legacy. And a couple weeks ago, I was talking with a former student, and he was saying, kind of in a similar vein, how he has taken the techniques that I taught him in high school and what have you, and he's passed on to his students. And so, all these many years, 50 plus years now of music and experience are being passed on to another generation. So I'm excited about whatever they're going to do, whether I'm here or not to see it,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
seeing it, knowing that it's going to live on and go on. I love that.
Wow, wow. You've named some incredible persons, and I'm just sitting with those experiences in your basement. Just amazing. What's the choir that sang "No Greater Love"? Aren't they from
Originally,
Omaha? Yeah,
originally,
aren't they from?
it was originally recorded with the GMWA, Gospel Music Workshop.
Okay, and then King's Baptist, or are
There
they
was
from
this,
Omaha?
you might be thinking of Salem Baptist. I don't know if somebody redid it. If they
Yeah.
redone it, I haven't heard that. But one of the choirs that has a big claim to fame is Salem Baptist Church. They
Hmm.
recorded James Cleveland and No Ways Tired back in the day. That was
Okay.
the big hit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think they recorded that again as well.
Okay.
I'll have to go
It
check. What
definitely
church?
could be. It definitely
Yeah,
could be.
what congregation were you a part of?
I was at a church. My home church I grew up in is called Freestone Primitive Baptist Church.
All right,
And the
all right.
Primitive Baptist is a function of it was literally the um, first denomination founded in this country. Since I've been gone for my 20 plus years, they've since dropped the primitive side. So they're just now
Hmm.
Freestone Baptist. 4023 Ames Avenue.
I love it. Yeah, I'm well acquainted with Primitive Baptist. Grew up in Danville, Virginia, and New Mine Creek Primitive Baptist Church.
Oh,
My aunt, one of my aunts was a member of New Mine Creek, and they were some singing folks.
come on, man. People, I don't know why people think when you're a small church sometimes that you don't, but that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
That's where,
exactly.
you don't have, I mean, my church was fortunate, my dad being who he was, he went out and he got the piano, he got the organ, literally, he bought two different sound systems, to make sure that their church had what it needed. But we were a small congregation. Everybody had to sing.
Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah.
And that's what you get. I heard somebody recently that was saying, um, R&B music has lost its soul, and it was the point the person was making was that
Hmm.
those curators of that particular genre, um, they haven't grown up in church singing in choirs. They didn't grow up
Right.
in youth
Hmm.
choir.
Right.
Our generation, every R&B singer you want to call out from
Yeah.
our age and older had to go through the church youth choir, and if
Hmm.
they stayed long enough, they got to the adult choir. Well, that just
Exactly.
doesn't happen anymore, and so that you can hear it in the sound. You can definitely hear it in the
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah. How to command an audience and
Yeah.
that stage presence and
Mhm.
uh, improv- im- improvising. Folks just don't have it these
No,
days. Yeah.
very different.
Yeah. So, how has your creative life evolved over the years? When you think about where you started and where you are now, what have been some of the major shifts and evolutions in that journey?
If I can be totally transparent, Kendall, it stopped for a period of time because of
Hmm.
a lot of the personal things that I had to go through to be on my journey. And so it was literally as if time stopped in a lot of ways. Um, I would say from my childhood through my early mid 30s, um, one having access to opportunities just to be around, to sit with other musicians, to sit with composers, and some of the best of the best. That was just kind of par for the course. And as a result, you're going to kind of by osmosis, if nothing else, you're going to soak in some new stuff. More recently, that's been a challenge to access some of those spaces, but
Hmm.
the past year and a half has really been a very different the next phase,
Yeah.
I will definitely say this most recent phase that I'm in, this most recent part that I'm in right now. I feel that energy so much more right now. As I was saying earlier, I can articulate that this calendar year, really since like February, March, I can literally tell you that I felt like I am vibrating at a whole other frequency. Being able to touch the keys in a very different way, being able to go into and navigate spaces musically, has just been a very, very different thing. And I've been writing like I haven't written in, I don't think ever. Uh,
Wow.
because of this new group that we've kind of talked about that I started a couple of months ago. I've had to write all new material, so I've written probably 15 songs since like June, and I've never
That's
written that
amazing.
much that quickly. Now, some people that might not be a lot, but they just keep coming, and I just keep trying to get them out. And I know I've lost probably 4 or 5 songs because I keep them down quick enough. But the point of your question, um, the energy that I mentioned a little earlier, that is really a very real thing. You feel
Hmm.
people's energy and trying to figure out how to navigate that. What does it look like? The tools that you have to tap into, as we go through the different phases of life, the different stages of life, they can feel a little bit different. They can still be, authentic tools to whatever we've used before, but we use them in a different way. And so, um, I'm very excited about what's coming because I didn't see it. I very much did not see it. And
Hmm.
so, like, the freshness is very unknown. At the same time, there's a level of familiarity, like kind of like a blanket that you put away because it's summertime, and then it
Yeah.
starts getting cold like it is now. So you go and pull it out. You're like, oh yeah, this is why I kept this blanket. This
Hmm.
is doing the job just right. And so we're
Hmm.
kind of leaning into that while we're touching on, connecting with this new energy that's flowing too. Hope that makes sense. You
It
know,
does. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. So while we're here, tell me about the project. What is, how did the project come about? What are your hopes and timeline?
sure. So coming out of 24, post election,
Mm.
there was very much a shift across the country, and there were a lot of um, higher resonating negative energies being thrown out into the ethos around people that did not look, act, believe, or act or move in a certain way. And I didn't know what to do with that. I was just like, there was so much, there was so much anxiety. I didn't know what to do with what was going on. And so I just kind of sat with myself. I meditated. Um, I'm not a nature person, but I was putting myself intentionally in quiet spaces without electronics, without, people and technology, just to kind of hear what is the sun saying to me today? What are the leaves saying to me? Like I really kind of went into that kind of space.
Hmm.
And so when the new year started, I didn't have an answer. I got to February, I still wasn't sure. And we got right around the end of February, 1st of March, and I said, I think there's a cry for music to step in the space and let people know that wherever you are in your life journey, you don't have to be a Christian. If that's what you are, fine, but you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be heterosexual. If you are, that's fine. You don't have to be. You don't have to be cisgender. If you are, that's great, but you don't have to be. You can be a person of color. You can be an immigrant. You could be a minority. Like all these different demographics, these different communities, these different groups were just popping into my spirit to let them know that whoever you are, there's still good news for you. And
Hmm.
so I connected with a couple of people. And I was like, this is kind of what's in my heart. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. And ultimately, it led to the place of connecting with Reverend Daryl Moak, who is a part of the UCC tradition. And we began talking. And I said, Daryl, this is what's on my heart. And he's like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking the same thing. Oh, this would be awesome. Let's work together. I was like, yeah, I think we should work together. And so the vision came out to create a safe space for folks that, first and foremost, may have been rejected from whatever their spiritual or religious houses or places of worship, and just to it through using the vehicle of gospel music, which of course we know gospel means good news, right? And
Mhm.
so just really using this thing of good news music and letting people know that you deserve to be here. You're
Yeah.
made exactly how you're supposed to be. You're deserving of love. You are loved. And unapologetically, we're going to sing this song and just remind you in case that you forgot. And I'm a big person. Um, I believe in talking to myself, having conversations. My
Mhm.
running joke is some days I'm the best conversation that I have with myself. And then some days I'm the worst conversation that I have with myself, you know? But I believe in, no, even more than affirmations, just literally sometimes you have to just talk to yourself because in a span of 24 hours, let's just break it down to 8 hours, you're at your job. You're probably told that you messed up, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, fix this, fix that. You're told that 100 times over the
Mhm.
course of your workday. But how many times are you told, you know what, you really are amazing? You're beautiful. You're sexy. Your feet are
Yeah.
cute. You have good ideas. Just that positivity, just literally spoken. We don't do that. And especially in our Black community, we definitely don't do it. We want everybody to love us for who we are and to accept us. But it's hard for us to give that to other people, in my opinion. We
Mhm.
can do it, but it can be a difficult thing to do. We don't want you to get too high. You start smiling yourself, we got to tear you down. And that's just, it's a cultural thing. It's not just our culture, but from an African American experience, I've seen that a lot. I've seen it in other
Yeah.
cultures too. But
Depression, sickness. Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. But all of that was kind of like a foundation to why do we need to do this project. And so I put the call out to my circle of people and said, hey, I'm going to make a group, going to make a choir. We'll see how big it gets. And this is what we're trying to do. We want to do a recording. The original timeline, we want to do a recording in December, but life be lifing.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, we're going to push it back to February. And so we have a group of about 16 people here locally and about 4 or 5 people from Florida, Texas, and California that are going to join us also.
Wow.
And the song, it was so interesting. One of the first songs that came to me in this process turned into the title song, and that was very intentional. And it's called This Is What We Believe. And it is literally taken from one of the leadership persons in the UCC church. And we took the line that just says, this is what we believe. And it just kind of breaks down literally what they say, their foundational text. And we just put that to music. And then we started writing other songs. We took texts from Psalms 91 and Psalms 23 and Psalms 100. And just, we just kept going. We had different songs. One called My Destiny. It talks about being bound for greatness and being a dream that a person has. We just started writing music that would be very, very not. Yes, it's in the gospel style. Be very, very clear. I'm a gospel girl, all the way
Mhm.
at heart. You go. I need some B3 organ. I need that 6/8 times that 6/8
Mhm.
times signature. I need that hand clap. I need to
Staying in the pocket.
stay right there in the pocket. But we want to be very intentional about having a message that
Yeah.
lets folks know that wherever you're coming from, there is a space of love, there is a space of acceptance, there's a space for you to be who you are. And, you know, wherever it goes is where it goes. I have told the group multiple times, we can be, we may not hit mainstream gospel music or the mainstream radio. I don't know. I'm not going to put those limitations on things, but it's going to go where it's supposed to go because the people that are supposed to hear it, that's who's going to hear it. And so,
Mhm.
all I know how to do is fix that cake, put it in the oven, let that thing bake, baby. Because when it starts smelling right,
When it's ready, yeah,
yes, yes,
the people will smell it and they will come.
that's right, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I am looking forward to what unfolds, and just I can imagine so many places that need to hear that message and will benefit, and where it will resonate in certainly this season that we're in. It is so needed. So let me know how I can support.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, so tell me about you. It it's very apparent that you have moved to a place where you are able to claim space and own space as a Black trans woman, and that is no small thing in religious spaces. What has what has been some of the formative elements of that ability? What has positioned you? What has given you that ability? What has moved you to that place of being able to stand firmly in who you are and what you're called to do and how you're called to show up?
That's a great question. I think first and foremost, it's been the no's.
Mm,
It's been the negative stuff. Um, I would not consider myself like a type A personality. I'm just kind of low key. First of all, I'm an introvert.
mhm.
And I'm an introvert.
Same.
Right. So I'm an introvert who knows that I'm introverted. And so I'm
Mhm.
very aware of my battery, where the charge is at. And I, I just refuse to be a person that's going to waste my energy on people that don't want me there.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not even going to argue with them about it. Like, what we're not going to do is get into an unhealthy back and forth because you need to exert some type of power in your space. You can have it. My parents raised me well enough to know and understand that what what is in these fingers, what's in these hands, I can literally go out and create whatever it is I need to create. I don't need you.
Mhm.
And sometimes people don't get that because it is a very common thought process that people want to have some place of superiority on other folks.
Right.
You know, I'm better than you. I have more than you. I know more than you. Blah 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 blah. Whatever that might be. And my mom used to say, "Baby, sometimes you gotta let stuff be like water for ducks back." And
Mhm.
that's how I try to move. If you don't want me, I will never try to convince you that I'm the one. But I know this, and I say this as humbly as I can, Kendall. When I sit down and I start playing, you're gonna know.
Mhm.
Now, what happens is you get the opportunity to make a decision.
Make a decision. Yeah.
Am I gonna let my stuff block the relationship opportunity with this amazing person, or am I gonna push that aside and join her in her journey? And for those that
Mhm.
have decided to join me, I love them all. I embrace them, I hold on to them, and do whatever I can to let them know how much they mean to me. But for those
Yeah.
that don't, I don't worry about you.
Mm.
Like there's not enough time in there's not enough time in the day for me to worry about all those people.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so that that is a waste. That is an ineffective use. That is a waste of what I have been given in this 24-hour block of time in this day to use for me to run around trying to convince somebody. You need to hear my anointing. You need to feel my
Mhm.
presence. No,
Right.
like stay where you are. It's totally good because whoever's for you, they're gonna come find you. Cool beans.
There's cake. There's cake.
There you go. There
There's cake, and it's good.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Sometimes people want to turn stuff into a competition
Yeah.
because they don't
Yeah.
know how to not be competitive.
Mhm.
I'm good. I'm good. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. That doesn't mean that my ego doesn't get riled up sometimes, or my feelings
Right.
don't get hurt sometimes, or I don't, you know, walk out just angry and I'm just like, oh, that doesn't mean that doesn't happen. But I try to operate in such a way, understanding that the universe has something for me when I get to the place I'm supposed to be to get the thing.
Mhm.
So if I'm wasting time going back and forth with you, I heard this a preacher say this many, many years ago. He said it takes approximately 3 point whatever years for the sunlight that we're feeling today. It left the sun 3 point whatever years ago. So that has always stayed with me. That means that wherever I am today, there's something that's already coming to meet me where I'm going to be in 3 point something whatever years. So if I am stuck and I am insistent upon staying right here because I'm going to fight with you and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, blah, 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 instead of moving to where I'm supposed to be, then I might miss that moment. Now, but don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to parallel that to those moments when you're supposed to stay and fight for something, where you're supposed to stand up
Right,
for a
right.
principle, where you're supposed to hold your ground. I'm not talking about that type of scenario. I'm talking
Split
about the
fan.
scenario
Yeah.
where emotionally, psychologically, even spiritually and financially, you have allowed some other entity to hold on to you and keep you from moving forward.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
When,
There's a
when, when you
difference. Yeah.
allow other people, external people, to control your movements in the physical, in the spiritual, in the mental, in the financial, when you allow external people to have that much influence over you, that's when it's the setup. That's when it's the block.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
A-
you
Abuse solely for the sake of abuse.
right there, that right.
Yeah. Yeah. Has no redemptive value. Yeah.
And
Just.
what I also am in favor of is letting you work out your trauma because it's not my water to carry.
Hmm.
It's not my job to fix your trauma. It's not my job. That's not my water to carry.
Hmm.
You have to work on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can sit with you for this 5 minutes and we can process and walk through it together. I can share with you and you can share with me. But baby, you need to go home and do the work. Now, if you want me to fix it, you need to pay me like I'm your therapist, like I'm your psychiatrist. I'll write you a prescription. Like that's a whole other conversation, you know.
Mhm.
But if we're not going to have that conversation,
Right.
then I'm going to keep it moving.
Hmm.
And it's all
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did it take you to get that lesson? When did that click for you?
Still going on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's an everyday reminder.
Hmm.
You know, when I was teaching, I would tell my students, you know, you don't have to pass, you don't have to learn this topic that we're studying right now. It's going to be on the test. And if you don't get it, it's going to come back around. It's up to
Hmm.
you how quickly you want to get it. You know, and they would always look like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not gonna punish us? Why would I punish you? This is your lesson to learn.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have to get it. The sooner you get it, the sooner you can move on to the next level.
Right.
But if you're for whatever reason, if you choose not to, okay, there'll be another
It's
opportunity. I
it's all right.
promise you.
Yeah.
It's gonna come back around. And so, how does that look now at where I am in life? It's the same stuff. It's just it. There's always moments where you can either be a higher level, next version of yourself, or you can stay where you are. And it's not my job to say which is right or which is wrong. But what I can offer is that if it's something that is impeding you or it's impeding the space that's around you, maybe it is time for you to move forward, learn a lesson and move forward. Stop fighting it and move forward.
Hmm.
So I try to stay in the space that I'm supposed to stay in as long as I need to. And when I've passed the test, let's move on. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
it just keeps building. It just each
Hmm.
layer builds on the next, right?
It's incremental.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I mean, it's gonna come around again. It's just gonna look different, it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
look a little different. Can I handle that one?
Hmm.
But at the same time, it is, in my opinion, is very fair to allow other people to have their own journey just as much as I want them to allow me to have my journey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm sure in your evolution, queer and trans folks are looking to you as a person who has something of great importance to share, wisdom. So how are you navigating and negotiating being a person who is now imparting wisdom and providing care and nurturing? How are you going about that, and how is that experience for you?
I think the introvert in me, more so than ever before, has found a level of balance.
Hmm.
So for those people, one, I never impose my perspective on people, regardless of how I may feel internally. Doggone it, I wish they would just get it.
Yeah.
It's not my job to make you get it. My job, my role is to give you whatever I'm supposed to give you and then be present as much as I'm supposed to be. And then I move on. So whether it's with community members, whether it's with in the education spaces, if it's in religious and church spaces, I try to show up and do what I'm supposed to do in that moment. And if people connect, awesome. Let's enjoy this moment. If they just sit and look at me, hey, so be it. But I'll say this. When I went to University of Arkansas to start this master's program, going down was a mess. Coming back was a mess. But being in, I think it's Fayetteville. I think I was in Fayetteville. The most amazing experience I've had in such a long period of time.
Wow.
And people I did not expect to have it from. Whether it was fellow classmates, whether it was people from the community, whether it's just random people that I ran across in the Walmart. I just did not expect. And so what that showed me, or what that opened my eyes to understand, is that whatever the energy is that's coming off of me, it's already entered the room before I've walked in.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to pave a way. And what I'm supposed to do is show up and honor that energy. Whatever people do and how they respond to it, I have absolutely no control over.
Yeah.
But I did my part. Mm-hmm. And, we had some amazing conversations. I had some tearjerker moments, just sitting and crying with folks that we were just, talking about different things. And memories that I will hold on to, and people that I will, stay connected with, that I, again, did not anticipate in that particular space. And so how could I not show up in the spaces that I'm familiar with and not just be, if I can get that over there, there's absolutely no reason I can't get that over here. And so, that part was a reminder. This may sound a little bit arrogant. I don't mean for it to. I'm an amazing woman. Did you know that?
You
I mean,
are.
I really am. I, sometimes, what did James Brown? What did James Brown say? Sometimes I have to just jump back and kiss myself. And that's the affirmation stuff that I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes we just forget that whoever you are, you really are amazing.
Yeah.
All the 6 point whatever billion people on this planet, there is nobody exactly like you. Even if you're a twin or a triplet, there's nobody exactly like you. And so when you can move in that energy, when you can be in that space, it doesn't matter how the people take it. Be your authentic self. Yeah. And it'll always make way for you. What does the scripture say? My mom used to always tell me, baby, don't you know what the Bible says? Your gift to make room for you.
Room for you.
To bring you before. Like, okay, all right, Reverend. Okay, Reverend Doctor. I got you. I heard the sermon. I got you. It's true. It is true. Your gifts, whatever your gifts are,
will make room.
They'll make room for you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I'm curious, what brought you to the place of doing a master's program now, and what do you hope to gain from the program?
So I don't remember who told Tony McNeil.
Good friend of mine. Yep.
I met him several years ago at a conference, and we just Facebook friends. And he sent me this thing last year, and it was like, no, he posted on his page that somebody was doing a presentation for their master's class, whatever, right? So I wasn't able to see the presentation because it was a student. It wasn't like a replay. It wasn't posted on social, right? So I reached out to him and said, hey, I saw that you had this going on. And right off Jump Street, oh my gosh, you should join this program. You should sign up. I said, what is this? And so we got to talking. He explained what it was. It's a Black sacred music program. And I was just like, wait, what? What are you talking about? What you mean Black sacred music? I'm trying to tell you, sis, you're gonna love it. You should just go. I was like, okay, okay. So I got to reach out and talk to people. The first person I talked to was Dr. Herzog, this white guy, a little short white guy. Let me tell you something. That man got some soul in him. He was playing lead guitar. I was like, who is this over here? The nicest man, just a real down to earth guy. We had great conversations. Walked me through registration. They made sure I got money to go. And, I had never thought, I kind of felt like, as you get further away from school, it gets more and more
Hmm.
difficult to go back to school.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
didn't think I'd be going back to school. But the Black sacred music concept, I said, okay, maybe I can do this.
Hmm.
And, it's rough. Don't, we're 25, 30 years out. Like, it's been a minute. But it is such the program as a whole, the instructors, the space is such a warm, supportive space, such a supportive team. Not that it has been easy, but they have been so supportive to go through the process. And I'm just like, yeah, I have to finish this. I got to do this. This is next
Yeah.
level. And so, if I understand correctly, it's the only program of its type in the country.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, I'm a part of the third class, and it's just
Okay.
me and one other person. So it'll be the two of us, that'll be going through, for this cohort or whatever. But it's 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 just mind blowing. Like, it's just mind blowing. I didn't think that a master's program in European music could speak to me.
Hmm.
So, I started a program before at Boston. And I got to like my third class. I was like, no, I don't want to hear about this. It's not working.
Hmm.
And at
Yeah.
that point, I just turned it off. I was like, no, this is not going to work. But this program, oh, it's everything. Just the information, the research, the work. Now let me just pause right here. I know you're working on your doctorate degree. Okay, I respect you working on your doctorate degree because I know what I'm doing is wearing my tail out. So I can only imagine what you're dealing with on the doctorate level. It's some work. Whoever watches this video, if you're still working your undergrad in your 20s, do not
do,
stop.
I do not
Keep
stop.
going. Get the money,
Right.
figure it out. They'll pay you whatever. Do not stop because it doesn't get easier as you get older.
Wise advice. Wise advice. Yeah, I started a lot earlier. I started 15 years ago, and life happened, and but picked it back up and said it's still a dream. So I have to do it. But
And you're gonna do
yes,
it. You're gonna be Dr.
yeah.
Brown. Don't even you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
So we are kind of coming to the conclusion of the conversation, but I could go on for a while. Let me see. Let me cut a let me cut a few questions here. Um, Tell me about your vision for the community that you're curating. What's your hope um, for this project, and what do you hope will come to fruition from it? And just what do you anticipate? What are you working towards?
I think there are, I'm gonna say three things that I'm gonna focus on for that answer. One is economic independence and solvency.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the broadest minority group you want to start with, all the way down to the most narrow, every single level needs to be economically independent. I know there are social systems, there's all types of programs, you
Hmm.
know, every church, every fraternity, sorority, everybody's got something because it's necessary, yes. But what if I could like just snap? Remember Ajib Genie? Boop, boop, boop.
Hmm.
If we could do that, I would want to see all our communities not have to depend on somebody else financially. There is again power dynamics in play, and those folks that have the money have the power, and they are very comfortable giving it and taking it away. And so if an individual is able to, what's the old saying? If you give a person fish, they can eat for the day. If you teach them how to fish, they
Mm-hmm.
eat for a lifetime. A lot of folks have gone to school. They've gone and got trainings and certifications. They've sat under somebody and been mentored and all those different things, and they still can't take care of themselves.
Right.
And so then when you start introducing any type of mental health issues that can be in play, any type of addiction issues that can be in play, any type of trauma or lack of
Mm-hmm.
family support, like that just complicates the process
Yeah.
that much more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing would be some type of economic independence. Uh, the second thing is I wish that people would be in a space, could get to a space as a community where we could learn how to bond together more so than fight. I see within our rainbow, our alphabet community, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
infighting. As an African American, there's a lot of infighting. As people on the East Coast versus the West Coast versus the Midwest versus down south, everybody's just picking a side to fight. And I'm
Yeah.
not one of those people who lives in a fantasy world. Some of it is very intentional, it's very strategic, and we get all that stuff. We're not going down that road. We understand that. But if there were a way to come together before, you know how when families, when Big Mama died, that's when everybody come to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the repast, you don't see anybody again until,
Right.
right. You
Somebody
know,
else dies. Yeah.
and I get it. I do understand it. Don't misunderstand. I get it because family is tough, but we are a family on certain levels. So how can we find those different specific platforms, specific ideas that we can rally around together, and we can say, as a community, as a culture, whatever it might be, we're going to stand together on this issue, and we're not going to give up until there's a change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing I would love to see. I'm gonna shift what I was gonna say. The thing I want to see for this music project, like the ego in me, I would love to see it win awards or get some kind of national recognition, stuff like that. That would be awesome. But setting that stuff aside, I would love to see it touch somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally touch somebody. Um, after I retired from teaching, I worked for DC government for about 5 years. Um, before I left there, I was the transgender health coordinator, the first of its kind in the area. When I left there, I worked for the Trevor Project, which is a suicide crisis hotline as a supervisor. Did that for 5 years. I don't know how many times I saw 10-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds struggling, struggling, ready, contemplating having suicidal ideations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having plans, saying things like, my grandmother said I'm going to hell, or my mom says she hates me, or my family doesn't talk to me anymore, or I found out that my status, my HIV
Mm-hmm.
status, or I'm pregnant. And you know, th- these things are very real for people. I'm hoping that through this music, one song, two songs, the whole project lets them know that you can get through this. I can't tell you how exactly, but you can get through this. You just got to keep on. And sometimes that means you have to change. You have to reposition yourself. You have to change your position. That's fair, but just don't quit. Just
Yeah.
don't quit.
Yeah. Well, knowing your music ability, knowing your anointing, knowing all that you embody, I have no doubt that the project will touch many lives. So I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to end by inviting you to imagine a person who is at that place, like you mentioned, where you were several years ago, not fully living into your creativity, um, where things were stagnant. What would you say to a person who has let their creative spark, or by no fault of their own, life has just dimmed that creative spark, what would you say to a person who needs to hear a word regarding getting it going again and finding that creative joy once again? What would be your parting words?
I would say to a person who is sitting in the dark space, it's okay. Stay there as long as you need to. And when you get up, go, baby. Wherever it is you're supposed to go. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about other situations. Sometimes we're taught that we're not supposed to be in the dark space. I don't believe that. Sometimes you have to be in the dark space to get away from all the noise, all the hubbub, all the rigmarole, as my mother would say, one of them old terms, old fashioned words. You have to get away from all of that to
Hmm.
recenter yourself,
Yeah.
reground yourself. It could be in your spiritual practices. It could be in your mental health practices. It could be one of the things that I would love to do when I would have my down moments is I would sit and I would just do scales. I would literally sit at the piano and just play scales.
Mm.
And something about that would just reground me, recenter me, and I could get up and do whatever I needed to do. So if you're in that dark space, don't run from it. Get what you're supposed to get from that time. Take that and then use that energy to launch you out into the new thing, the new space you're supposed to go into. And guess what? It's okay if those folks that you thought were going to be with you, they can't go with you.
Mm.
It's okay.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
You may have to be out there on your own, but you're not really on your own. You just haven't found who that new community is.
Mm. Mm.
But when you find them, we're afraid to go on the search and go on the journey. Don't be afraid to go on the journey.
Mm.
It'll take you where you're supposed to go. And the
Mm.
people that are supposed to go with you, they'll find you. That much I promise you, they will find you. And for those folks that are telling you this is wrong or whatever that negative speak is, if it's something that's burning within you that you know you're supposed to do it, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find what you're supposed to find and then work that thing, baby. Work it.
Thank you so much, Diedre. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this conversation, and you've given me so much to chew on and so much to go back and think about. I'm going to watch this and meditate on it, and tell others about the incredible work that you're doing. So thank you for affording me this opportunity, and I look forward to staying connected. We got to do a better job.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. If I could just say real quick, follow me on Facebook. I'm not on all the socials, but follow
Hmm.
me on Facebook, Diedre, Diedre Gray. I'm also out there, the Trans Gospel Queen. Put me out there. Check it out, see what's going on. You can, whatever contact information that you want to get, we can connect and we can talk about whatever. And I just finished the first draft of my very first book,
Oh,
the Gender Identity Gospels, Volume 1.
wow.
And so we talk
Okay.
about
Give me a quick synopsis of what it's about.
definitely. The Gender Identity Gospels, Volume 1 is a book that brings together a lot of the conversations, the research, the experience that I've had looking at different religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, different communal practices, looking at uh, uh, different spaces people are afraid to navigate when it comes to gender identity. And is it actually present? Is it actually a thing? And it actually is a thing. Like
Hmm.
everybody wants to say there's just two genders. No, it's really not. And it's in scriptures. It's in every major and minor religion. There's a whole spectrum, a whole
Hmm.
continuum of genders and gender identity. So
Hmm.
just do my research. It's not meant to be an academic text, but it is meant to share different perspectives and different points that people can go and see
So
information about
needed.
themselves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. When do you anticipate it being released?
I'm hoping early 2026, hopefully spring 2026.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, congratulations on that work. And
Thank you.
you are just doing the daggone thing. I'm so appreciative again of this conversation. And I will list your socials and ways to contact when the video is posted. So, again, thank you, Diedre. I
Thank you,
can't
Kendall.
thank you enough. All right. You take good care now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.